Hey guys, I want to do a quick video today, a quick little discussion here about what type are you. Now, before we get going and things like this, I'm going to say some stuff, and the idea is to stimulate your thought, kind of get you getting a little introspective, thinking about what you're doing and why you're doing it and what your martial arts are. I don't mean to insult anybody or be derogatory to any type of martial arts or grouping. I love them all. I think they're all kind of great. So you don't have to get out the pitchforks and the torch. You can throw the rope down. You don't have to go Shrek on me and come down here and pick at the dojo and stuff. We don't mean any offense to anybody. We love you all. Okay. Okay. The first type that we're going to talk about of the four major types are what we call the fighters. Now, the fighters can be as low down as the guys here that just want to get into a brawl at the local bar, the street thugs. They generally have no formal training, but what they're willing to do is they're willing to put that violence down on you. So it forces us to kind of be a little bit introspective on what we do and how our techniques are and the effectiveness of what we really do if we care about self-defense. Now, let's say the fighters are at 3 o'clock here. If you go a little bit above that, right about there, right, you have the real fighters. These are the guys that live for their next match, whether it's a boxing match, a jiu-jitsu match, judo match, fencing match, kickboxing, match. These guys spend all their time working on their technique. It has to work for them because there's no room for foo-foo dust in their world. These guys tend to be in great shape. They train all the time. They're just all about, like I said, that next match. Now, if you're a fighter in this level right here, it doesn't mean that you can't be something else, like the next group, the martial artists. You look at Mike Tyson, and there's no doubt in anyone's mind that he's one of the most effective fighters, in boxing history. If you look at some of the things that he talks about in some of his lectures, you can see that Mike Tyson really, really gets into it. He really understands what he does. His talking about the techniques of Muhammad Ali are just phenomenal. You can see that he's a real student over here to the way over to the right in the artist level. But we'll get to that in a second. So you're not really categorized and stereotyping this one particular level. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Moving up here, now we have the realm of the martial artist. I consider myself a martial artist. That tends to be what the majority of us are. The vast majority of people who do martial arts are the martial artist type. We're the type that go down the dojo 2 or 3 times a week. We have a moderate amount of self-defense, but we're not really particularly there for self-defense. I'm doing my karate, my Uechi-ryu karate, for the simple fact that I just love doing it. It makes me feel good. I've gotten so many benefits out of it all through my life, different stages of my life, but I mostly do the karate as a martial artist because I love doing it. Now I have a little bit more of a bend down here for what we call efficiency. My martial arts has to work and I have to be able to be effective when I do, but that's my personal take. So I would say I'm a little bit down here on the martial arts scale. Right? Martial arts are great. You'll see them all different sizes and shapes and people types and things. There's a great diversity that you see in martial arts that you might not see down here so much. There's room for everybody in the martial arts that has something to offer for all of us. As we move over here a little bit more, we get into the realm of what we call the artist. The artists do it. They love the philosophy. They get down into the minute detail, the history. So they learn the language and the customs, the details, the whys, all the really deep things about what we do that might not be of interest way over here, really, really are the realm of the artist. I love the arts of talking to them and things like this as much as I love going down here and sparring and working my technique with the fighters. Now, the reason we bring all this up is because it depends on what your personality is. There's pros and cons of each one of these groups. Fighters tend to be really good at what they do, but their shelf life, their ring life is relatively short. They have a tendency when they get done fighting, boxing, kickboxing, whatever it is, to either retire from that world. Life gets in the way, kids, jobs. It's hard to maintain that intensity at that level for that length of period. You get older. Right? They tend to move up here and become martial artists. They have so much to contribute, so much experience in there and stuff, or they tend, like I said, to drop off. Now, martial arts, because that's the majority of it, there's so many different body types, ages, personalities and stuff, that sometimes we try to accommodate all, or we present the curriculum and expect people to pull what they need out of the curriculum. And that works, but it's a little bit more hazy in here. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, let's say, for example, you want self-defense. One of the things that these guys have down here is extreme intensity when they train, when they work out with each other. You need intensity in your workouts in order for you to really, really be prepared for self-defense. A lot of times, because of what we do in the class makeup, in the martial arts, or the style, or the teacher, or whatever else, that intensity is not there, right? So you have yourself. What are you looking for? What do you want out of this? What are you willing to do? What's your personality? What's your makeup? You have your particular training curriculum, your venue. Mine is Uechi-ryu Karate Do. Let's say you want to do really, really strong self-defense. Well, to look over here for a Tai Chi health class would be wrong. You're not going to get what you want. Let's say, for example, you want to do a martial artist, right? And you want to be a little bit more on the artistic side. Well, you'll look at something, maybe Aikido. That doesn't mean that Aikido can't be effective. If you ever watch the technique on the internet of a gentleman named Lenny Sly, there's no doubt in your mind. You watch this gentleman, there's no doubt in your mind this guy is brutally effective. So again, it's the individual, the dojo, the style, right? And like I said, the teacher. What's the teacher all about? You might go into a dojo, a Kyokushinkai, and it's a very strong, strong, strong martial art. The teacher has a bend to be a little bit more over here. All things have to balance, and to some degree, you need all of them to be really, really kind of effective. Now, we rambled on a little bit, but I guess the gist of all these three groups is that there's a balance. You're going to be a core self. There'll be something that you want out of it, something that you like to do, and you're going to have interest in other groups. So you're going to have this particular thing that you're a fighter, but now you want to go with better, so you work on martial arts techniques. Martial arts will be more effective. Maybe go over here, maybe you go over here a little bit, test the techniques, learn a little bit more about the history, why they were done, try to apply them over here. So we need a little bit of them, but generally you're going to fall into one of these three camps. Now I mentioned that there was 4 camps in the beginning. The 4th camp I don't spend too much time on. I generally try not to let them here in the dojo. They're the ones you see running around, spouting all kinds of chi stuff or one finger knockouts and wearing ninja suits with a lightsaber on their back, speaking Klingon or whatever else. They have very, very, very little to offer us, except maybe a good chuckle once in a while. For the most part, they're just not the type of people we want in the dojo stuff. That particular group right there, we'll call that group the fucktards, and we'll just kind of ignore that whole group. So, in conclusion, know who you are, what you want out of your particular dojo, your particular style. Try to find the right match, and even then, it won't be 100%. You still have to do some cross training there. Thank you.